All right, I think we all now have the document open. Let's do this Excel level 1. So again, as I said last time, that all these softwares like your Excel, your Word, PowerPoint. Now, PowerPoint, usually people like self-taught, and then Word is self-taught, but we'll cover the basic of Word, and we've gone through the basic of Word and PowerPoint, but we just need to get a bit deep on that, and then so you need to be comfortable with all the Microsoft Office suite. Like when you go to any company, you should be comfortable with your Excel, your PowerPoint, Word, Outlook. You should be comfortable with all those. All right. So today, I think we will look at the Outlook and your what you call Outlook, and then this Excel. So we just want to quickly go through the different functions that you will use every day for Excel, and then also look at Outlook. Wait, did I not look at Outlook with? Isn't that this group? Was it Matlodi? Matlodi, did we go through? So yeah, like Outlook, you can go through the recording. Yes, it is the basic. I remember. Yeah, I remember we did the basic of that. Yeah. So we're not going to do the basic of Outlook. We're just going to do the basic of Excel. It's just that the Excel last time, I don't think it was recorded for those that joined a bit late. For example, now we have Zanele joined also, I think in module 1, she wasn't there, and the other guys, and then I didn't record that. All right, so we just want to go through. So the idea is that we need to be comfortable with all these Microsoft Suite softwares, right, in and out. Because if you're doing admin work, you should be able to easily navigate within Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook. All right, so we've opened that. Let me see. So here's the student manual, just in case later on you just want to go through this on your own. There's the student manual. The student manual has like detailed information on this. All right. So if you follow the student manual, it will take you through. Right, if you follow through the student manual, it will take you through the instructions or the guidelines as to how to do this. So we are going to be using these starting files for activities. This one here. Starting files for activities, the last folder. Why does it have lesson 4.1? It's the same, like, does yours look like mine?
No, sir. It's 1 to 7.
1 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, so let's open Excel. Let's open a blank Excel spreadsheet. Let's see. Right, just a blank Excel spreadsheet. We just want to go through the navigation because already we know we have gone through the formative and summative. We added the screenshots that were supposed to be added there. So now it's just us focusing on Excel. What is that? Not that one. Just a blank workbook. All right, we are all now on an Excel on a blank workbook, right? Are we? Yes. All right, so let's go through the terminology, just the basic part of this. So when it comes to Excel, just the interface of Excel, so we have, not that. So we have the tabs. This is what we call the tabs, right? So all these are called the tabs. So when I say let's go to data tab, I'll be referring to these at the top. These are tabs. So we call these tabs. And then under the tabs, we have commands. Can you see the commands? The commands, they send an instruction to a computer to do something. For example, we have cut there. If you click on cut, it sends an instruction to a computer to cut something. If you want to copy something, send an instruction to do that. So a command is just a set of instructions that are sent to the computer to perform a specific task. So we have different commands here. We have different commands, conditional formatting, we have different, so these are commands. All right, so we said at the top, we have the tabs, we have the commands. And then also one more thing, these commands are grouped together based on the task that they perform. These commands are grouped together based on the task they perform. So when I say to you, let's go to data tab, and then group is, let's say home tab, group is font. So these are groups. Can you see all commands that you have to do with the font editing? They are in a group called the font. So we have the tabs, we have the commands, and then we have the groups. And then any command that has to do with number editing, can you see it's in a group called what? Number, and then we have styles. So that's the interface there. And then here we have what we call the name box. The name box. So F6 is the name box. It shows you which cell you have currently selected. So F6, it will pick up the column F and then the row number 6, and then it will put you on cell number F6 there. So that's the name box. Name box just shows you which cell you're currently in now. And then check here, we have the formula bar. So this area here is your formula bar. So that's your formula bar right here. All right. And then we have what we call the columns. The columns are represented or identified by the alphabet, like your A, B, C, D. Like, so these are your columns. So these are your columns. And then these are columns. All these. If I say go to column P, I'm referring to that. Going down, that's column P there. And then we have the rows here, row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. So number 10, there is row number 10. So these are rows. So rows identified by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are rows. All right. And then at the bottom here, we have what we call the pages, but the correct term for Excel is called a worksheet. This is a worksheet. So these are just pages. Because remember here, this is a book. So an Excel spreadsheet, it's a book. It's identified as a book. That's why you can see that right now, when I open the blank one, it saved it as book 1. That means it's a book. It's similar to an accounting ledger, all right? And then saved it as book 1. So if it's book 1, it means that it will have pages. So this is worksheet number 1. Worksheet number 2, you can create another page by clicking that plus there. It will have worksheet number 2. So click on that plus there and see worksheet number 2. So you can see we have different pages there, right? Okay, and then one more thing is the status bar. So this here, I don't know, is it color white there? This part here, right click this part here. Right click anywhere on this area. Right click anywhere on this area. Can you see it gives you a menu, right? So that's this is at the bottom as our status bar, and then it can give you a menu. I will come back to that because I don't want to switch from, but I'll come back to that. It's important information that we're going to use later on. All right, here at the bottom, we have like your zooming in options, your scrolling down options there. And then we have one more thing called the backstage menu. Click file. Can you see where there's file there? The file tab. Click on file tab. Let me also do this. If I click on file tab, it takes us to this part. So here you have at the bottom there, you have your account options, account, we have options, we have export, we have information and all of that. So we'll come back to this part on other levels of Excel, like your intermediate, advanced. There are certain things where we need to look at, like your export, how to export the document, and then account, how to change certain settings in your Microsoft document. All right. And then let's go back to this working area. And then this entire thing, we call it the working area. Let's say, so this entire area, we call it the working area, this entire space. All right. And then one more thing that we haven't spoken about is called a cell. So where a row and a column intersect, we call it what? A cell. So you can see there it says F6. It means column F, row number 6. So column F, row number 6, That's right there. So that we call it a cell. So a cell, this is where a column and a row do intersect. All right. Okay, that's the terminology that I'm going to be using going forward. And then here on the far right, we have this part here. Can you see where it shows the account? Can you see there the top right? So this part is customizable. So we said we have tabs, we have commands, we have groups, right? So when this entire area, we call it a ribbon. This entire area, we call it a ribbon, right? So this is called a ribbon, where there's tabs, commands, and groups, we call it a ribbon. So it's customizable. The ribbon is customizable. So when you customize the ribbon whilst you are signed in, let's say you customize this whilst you are signed in on this company laptop, and then you get warm, you sign in using your same account that you will log in your company laptop. The customization that you made by the time when you were at work on the work laptop, those customization will take effect on your laptop at home because customization get linked or embedded to your email address. Right. So that's the other reasons why we sign in. Signing in also helps us with when we want to share the documents that we're working on. When we want to share the documents that we're working on. All right. Now the terminology is out of the way. We understand what each tab. Okay, one more thing that I forgot to mention is this. Here at the top, right? Can you see at the top there, we have what we call the quick access toolbar. So where there's autosave, undo, and all of those are quick access toolbar. For some of you, it might be customized by someone else. Maybe it's at the bottom of the ribbon. For some, that can be found at the bottom here because it's customizable. So yes, you can control or you can customize this entire part here at the top. All right. So that's the top part. We call it quick access toolbar. There's a test that's going to come that we're going to have, like I think on the next module for Excel. We're going to do a test in Excel just to test your knowledge of these terminologies or functions in Excel. All right, I want to zoom in so that you can see nicely. All right, I'm zooming in. All right, there on column B. Let me see if we can. All right, so now let me just do this. So now the first part was navigation in Excel Office 365 interface. We are familiar with the interface. We're good with the interface. Now we want to look at so we're not going to look at all the functions. I've just chosen the functions that I know that are very important, like for most people within the corporate environment. Right, so I've chosen those functions that I deem as important in a corporate environment. All right, so let's go through this. We want to look at the autofill. We want to look at autofill options. We want to look at the formatting of numbers. Let's go through that now. Let's start with the formatting of numbers. So here, let's say you are required to type in to collect, let's say, or maybe to record the user's information. You want to collect their names. And then you want to collect maybe their last names. Last name. And then maybe you want to collect the contact number. You want to collect maybe the ID number. So we're working on this on a blank document, right? So we're working on it on a blank document. All right, so let's say now I'm collecting people's now, like just do any type in dummy information there. Let's say, Lucy. Let's say contact number. All right, so just add dummy information there. All right, that is done, right? So you can see what Excel does to the contact number. It removes the first 0, right? Can you see that? You typed in your contact number and automatically Excel will remove that, right? Like, no one is saying yes. Like, but maybe yours is not. Zeros are still there. Oh. Okay, so by default, Excel will remove that first 0, right? There are so many ways of fixing this. The popular method by many people is they start with a single inverted comma to control this, right? Single inverted comma, and then put a 0. You see what it does there? So start with a single inverted comma, and then put a 0. But data scientist also. So this is the wrong way of controlling or formatting data. Check here. On this part, check what it says Excel there. Click on that yellow exclamation mark. What is it Excel that is complaining about then? It says you're forcing a number to be stored as text. Because for me, when we're creating data set like this, later on my side, we usually come up with formulas or functions that we use to calculate certain things. So if now you have stored a number as a text, when I want to run to say, okay, that number plus certain number, it won't work because Excel will be recognizing what? A number as what? As a text. So it will be like, okay, what do you mean Melusi plus 7? Like, okay, it doesn't make sense, right? So it will give me a problem. So every time when we're dealing with data, in the beginning of collecting of that data, if it's a number, you store it as a number. If it's a date, you store it as a date. So that later on, if there's any function that we might want to use, we can be able to use that. Let me show you the same method on the ID number here. Let's go to our ID number. You can see what Excel does with the ID numbers, right? It adds a comma and a plus because it's a, how many? It's a 13-digit number. Excel is like, okay, it formats it differently. Is that what we want? No. So let's fix that by adding that single inverted comma in the beginning of that ID number. A single inverted comma. See what Excel does then? It fixes that for us, but check here again. It says you're forcing a number to be stored as a text. So reasons why I clean up data like this is because there was one, I went to this other logistic company and then the client said, okay, now I want to find out how old this person is. So they wanted a column that will show, okay, how old this person is. And then that database had like all the data all the way to 100 and something. So check here, if you check people's ID number and be like, okay, 97, 10, 29, you're trying to figure out how old this person is, right? You add that. But if the data goes all the way to 100, to row number 100, you can't do that manually. You need a formula that will do that for you. So the problem was that now I can't run a formula here to determine how old this person is because this is a text. When I'm trying to run my functions, the Excel will be like, no, there's an error because it's not a number, it's a text. I can't determine how old this person is. So we needed to convert this first to what? To a text, to a number, then run the formulas. So that's why I always say, if it's a number, store it as a number. If it's a text, you don't know what you want to use that data for later on. So if you store it correctly, then you won't have these problems on a later on in your data collecting or data analytic part. Let's go back to the contact number there. How then do we store this one correctly? Right, this one, it gets the job done, especially let's say I'm dealing with, maybe it's a register of 10 people, and then I know that that register always will have 10 people. It's fine. But if your data set is going to be bigger, like becomes big data, enormous data, then becomes a problem for us to analyze. Okay, so this gets the job done for temporal purposes, yes. Now let's clean up that. Let's remove the single inverted comma on your contact number there. All right, you can see what it does. How do we then format this? There are so many ways. In Excel, there are so many ways of doing the same thing, right? So method number one I want to use for this is, let's go to Home tab, click on Home tab. And then after clicking on Home tab, can you look for a group called number group? We know where to find the groups now, right? There's clipboard group, there's font group, there's alignment group, and then there's number group. Can you see that group? And then can you see the drop-down arrow next to number there? Click on that drop-down arrow. So Excel allows you to format the numbers in any way you want to format them as, right? So we want to format that. So can you see there is general, there is number, there's currency. The one that I want is custom. All right, we're on custom. Can you see the formats there? What you see there is 0, 0,00, hashtag. So these are different formats that have been applied by Excel for us. Can you see some? If you scroll down, some of them are the dates formats. So these are formats that already been applied. So if you see Excel converting your number into some funny number, it's because there's no existing format within the Excel database, right? So you need to create your own format. For example, check here on type, there's general, right? Can you see this general? Remove general. So we want to tell Excel that, hey, there is contact numbers, they have how many digits? 10 digits, right? So we want to tell Excel that, hey, there is a contact number like this. So there are two ways of doing this. Some method is for using the zeros to represent the number of digits in a contact number. So I can type in what? 10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, looks like I have more than 10 there. Okay, so I have 10. Can you see your sample there? Can you see your sample number there? What happens? It brings a 0, right? So right now what we're doing is we're telling Excel that every time when you see a 10-digit number, that starts with a 0. Don't remove that 0. I need the 0 there. So you're creating your own format in Excel. If it rejects this number that you're typing, it converts it into something else, you can tell this Excel to say, keep my formatting. Click OK there. So what's your name? Tutu. So what we did there, right? We typed in over zeros about 10, right? So you type the zeros there on type. That's the error of your, what you call it? Is the error there of removing 0 of text is not there, right? The error of text now, and then check where the number is now. It's on the right side of what? Of the cell. So a number will always go to the right side of the cell. A text goes to the left side. Check here. This is a text. It's on the left side of the cell. Check here. It's a number. It's on the right side of the cell. Check this one. It's a number that's recognized as what? Is a text. It's on the left side of the cell. So that's how Excel formats. The numbers goes to the right side of the cell. The text goes to the left side of the cell. All right. Let's look at another way of trying to fix this ID number there. There are so many ways. So this was method number 1. So here on this method, for some computers, the zeros might not work. So if you type in these zeros and then they're not working, you need to switch to hashtags. So you type in 10 hashtags. So if zeros are not working, you do the pound signs, which is the hashtags, 10 of them, then it will convert that into the number that you want. So there's some other Excel version when you try to do the zeros, it's not working, you switch to hashtags, 10 hashtags to represent the digits of a contact number. All right, so check here now, I'm on this ID number. I want to fix it because it's a text. It's a number stored as a text. So first, I want to get rid of that inverted comma. All right, so it takes back this to that fun formatting there. It puts it back to that fun formatting. All right, so check now. What we want is to convert that ID number into ID numbers have how many digits? Is it 13, right? 13 numbers, right? So we can use the same method that we used on the contact number. but I want to look at the different method. I want to look at the different method. And then if, okay, let's start with this method and see if it works. Let's go to, so there might sometimes one method might not work and then you switch to another method. So we started with this method, right? We started with what? The method of what? The single inverted comma, that's method number one. We said in terms of data analytics and data science, that's not advisable, but it gets the job done. So method number one is the inverted comma. It will control that number, right? Number two is, this is the one that we just looked at with of the zeros, 10 zeros, right? So now we want to look at the ID number and see what other method we have. So I want to give you different methods so that if method number one is not working, you switch to method number two. Number two is not working, you have the third method. So here on E3 there on my start, where there's my ID number, if I go to home tab and then go to a group called number, can you see there's general currently there on it says general, right? On this box there. It says general there on this part. Let me see. So on this part, can you see where it says general? All right, there's this thing in there, the drop-down arrow. Click on the drop-down arrow, see what other options you have. Can you see we have the option for number there? Can you see? It kind of like looks close to what we're looking for, right? Click on that number there. If you're at 2000, it might give you problems there, right? The zero is still not showing. Yeah. So on the 2000 side, you might use that method, the zeros. All right, but for now, if you're 2000, just leave it like that for now. I'll show you the other method then. Okay. So I chose, but look at what it does to my ID number there. What does it do? It adds those zeros there. Can you see? I don't want those zeros. Then how do I remove the zeros? Can you see there on number group, there's this formatting. Can you see if mouse over, there's the one that says increased decimal. There's the other one that says decreased decimal. So we want to decrease, right? Want to get rid of those two decimal points. So you can see what it does then. There's two options, decrease and increase. If it's adding more, that means we're on increase. There's two options here. All right, so check now, this is how you can control this. As I said, for AMA 2000, this might not be working. Let me add a 2000 there. Let's say dummy, let's say 12, let's say. So it might not really work on this one because it just removed the two zeros, right? So as I said, I gave many methods. If method number one is not working, we look for another one. Let's see what other method. Let's see the zeros, if those zeros works, right? So let's go to this part. Let me go there. Let me say custom. And then let me change this. We said how many zeros in IT? 13, right? 13. Yeah, I got 13 there. So we said the digits in an IT number, they are 13. So you can see I'm typing those zeros, and then I want to, you see what it does there. So there are so many ways of formatting numbers in Excel. So there's so many ways of formatting that. But the rule now is like one thing that you need to have in your mind when working with the data. If you see that this spreadsheet is going to be bigger and then it's going to be used for bigger things in future, if it's a number, make sure that it's stored as a number. If it's a date, make sure you store it as a date. So you are avoiding that thing of saying, okay, later on in life, when I want to run maybe another function or a formula within this data set, I can't run it now. Or first I need to clean up the data because I stored a number as a text, or I stored a date as a text or something like that. So make sure that whatever you do, you keep the data as it's supposed to be. If it's a date, keep it as a date. If it's a number, store it as a number, right? I've seen people go like, do this, like let's say 89, you find that at the beginning of 89, there's an inverted comma. What's the inverted comma for? You see, it pushes that to the left side, and I want to add up these. I won't be able to add up with the other ones. So let's say now I have another one. Then I say equal sign that, let's say, plus, that's what, D6 plus D7. Right? It will give you an answer, but in future, like other things that you need to do, like your summarizing, your filtering, you will have problems. So a number, it has to be stored as a number. A text has to be stored as a text, because it will affect you on a long run. All right. So we have these. Number one, we're looking at making the rules, following the rules of data set. When you're collecting data, the rules of data analytics, you've got to clean up your data first. In the beginning, when you're collecting it, make sure that you store it correctly, because it will give you problems in when you're dealing with your pivot tables, when you're dealing with other tools to analyze that data. Okay, let's see now. One more thing that I want us to add is, let's go to the next page. So we're opening another page. All right, we're opening another page now. This one, we can save it as the first one, rename it to what you call data formatting. Let's say rename it. Let me call it data. Why that? Why do that? I want to call it, no, not data. I want to rename it to data format. Let's see if it allows me. Right, I want to rename it to that. Hello? All right, and you? Oh, yeah. Okay, fetching the data, controlling this, if Excel pushes it into something else. So we have this to Excel. Let's say now we get like the SQ, what you call the SKU number or warehouse number. So our warehouse numbers, we're starting with the 0089-8900. So every time when we trying to store or keep a number like this, Excel was removing the first zeros. So let's say a warehouse number was like this. So let's say Excel removes or controls it. Okay. So for example, Excel, you can see still on the left. So what you will do is you will just do this, come to this side. Can you see there's 0, 0, the first 0? So how do you represent this?
So we can see the Excel screen.
So we'll do like the 0 zeros, and then you do a dash, and then what? It's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, dash, and then 8900. Okay. So you like this, but this that Excel doesn't really doesn't really remove the 0. It was doing this where you add those first zeros, then it will push it away. But how then do you force it? To us checks, you just do the same thing there. At a dash, and just so you can control this by doing that. And then let's go to the second page. On the second page, what I want us to focus on is I want us to type in so we typed in Monday, we typed in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Sir,
Come again.
we can see your screen, sir.
I'm not sure if it's I'm assuming it's my network is breaking a bit. Yes, go ahead.
We can see your screen. We can see the Excel sheet.
My network is. Can see let me just stop sharing and then try to reshare again, and then reshare again. Yeah, I heard like there was a sound that was coming through here to show me that my network is bad. It says, hold on, looks like something went wrong. Which one am I connected to? All right. Can you see my screen now?
No, sir.
No screen.
My network. Yeah. Where's that part? Stop sharing. Share again. All right. There's something now, right? You can see the. That's online. You can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
It's blank. All right, perfecto. Okay, so we were typing in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're done with that, right?
So we take out the names and the ID.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're done with this page of the contact numbers ID. We are on the new page where we're typing on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. From column B, Monday, Tuesday. So we're done with the first page. Just on the second page, we opened or created a new page. We're done with that, right? So check here. Excel is a smart tool. Excel is a smart tool. So it has ways of saving you time. So instead of us typing in Monday directly there, instead of us typing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you only type in one Monday, and then can you see that bottom part there? Can you see that when I mouse over there, you see what it does there? Can you see how big my mouse is? When I mouse over to that dot there, you see what it does? It changes to that small. So I can drag this to the side. You see that? Monday. So on your side, delete Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that you typed in there. Only leave Monday. So delete your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So these are the tools that saves you time. So you didn't have to type in your, all right, let me delete that again. All right, so you have Monday there, check there. The case changes, the minute it changes, you left click that. You can drag it to the side, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then can you see there, Wednesday is not fitting on my cell. So you can resize the cells there by mouse overing to that line that is in between the D and E. I can double click the line to resize so that Wednesday can fit in there. All right, so that's an easy way. It saves you time. But check here, one more thing. Let me show you one more thing. So what you did is you drag this to the side and then gave you up to Friday. Check here, there's this money in a box at the bottom, at the end there. Can you see that box? So click that box there, let's see. This box, so what it did, it said, since you tapped in Monday, Excel picked up a series. It says, okay, what follows after Monday? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there was a series. But there are scenarios whereby you just want to type in Monday 5 times. You want to say Monday, 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 Monday 5 times. Maybe you want to record data for the previous 5 Mondays. So you don't want to type in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You want only 5 Mondays there. So can you see, click on that part that says copy cells. You see what it does? So it copies that first data 5 times. You see? So it kind of like saves you time in scenarios whereby if you have to type in the same thing several times, you can just drag it the amount of time that you want it to be. For example, here, want Mondays 5 times. I dragged it to the side there, and then I changed it from fill series. I pushed it to copy cells. You also have like the fill weekdays, fill days. You see, fill days, fill weekdays. You have those options. So the other options, fill formatting only, fill without formatting. We're going to look at this one when we're using the conditional formatting. So right now, we have learned 2 new things. Fill series, it saves us time. Put it back to the fill series. Put it back to fill series so that we can have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Okay, so now we want to type in on this row. I want you to type in now. I want you to type in here January, on this part, January, February, March, April, going down, right? So type in that January to December. On that column from there, you have January here, February, March, until up to December then. We're done, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, so the task that used to take us forever to do, because you'll type in January, right? Move to February, and then up to December. That's quite a lot of work to do, right? So you just type in what? Only one. Excel is smart enough to do the rest for you. I can just do this, and then up to December, then it picks up that. So I have to type in only one. All right. On that same note, I want you to type in here the numbers next to the month. So a number will represent that, okay, January is the first month, February is the second month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 12 then. Right here next to January, next to the month. I want you to type in the numbers then. You're typing in the numbers, right? So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we're doing is here, right next to the months, we're typing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to show that, okay, January is the first month, February is second month, third month, March, fourth, all of that. So we're done, right? You only type in 1 and then Excel will do the rest for you, right?
Yes, sir.
So the reason why I'm bringing this up is that because when you drag it down, it will do this, right? It will do the ones, like says, okay, that means it copied the cells. And then we still have the box there. You see what it did? It defaulted to copying the cells, but we want the series. Then you can change to series. So you can change to series. You only type in 1 there at the top, and then you drag it down. If it copies the cells, the box comes in handy. You just switch to fill series instead of copying cells. So you have those options of switching around. All right. So this is one of the powerful tools that saves you time. So there are so many tools or methods in Excel that we can use to kind of like save us time and all of that. All right. So now I want us to do more. So let's save this one as autofill. Let's save this page as autofill. Save it as autofill. Rename it to autofill. Rename it to autofill. Right. Now we want to format numbers, right? Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. One more thing that you can you need to know is these pages. You can move them around, right? You can drag them to different positions. You can see now the new page, which is sheet 3, is in the main there. Autofill, I can push it there. So you can swap around the pages there. Right, you have that option of swapping around the pages. So let's go to the new page, which is worksheet 3, right? Want to look at the basics. Let's say items. Let's say so we have keyboard, mouse, monitor. What else do you want to add? Let me add one more thing. I want to have items here. How many did you buy? Let's say 67, say 10, let's say 28. Let's say keyboard is like all right, we're doing Excel basic, right? So let's see what we can do with this. Okay. All right, so we do have these. Now, we want to look at the basic ways of performing calculation in Excel. So in Excel, every time when you want to perform any calculation, the rule is that you start with an equal sign, right? You start with equals, right? Equal. And then we have many ways of doing this. as I said, that in Microsoft products, there are so many ways of doing the same thing. So what we have here is we want to calculate the quantity, right? We sold maybe 34 keyboards, and then price for each is 200. So what do we do there if for us to get the total? Do we multiply, add, divide? We multiply, right? So I want to show you the wrong way of doing this first. So we have 34, right? Times 200. So this method of calculation that I'm using now is called the constant, right? The constant calculation. It's the wrong way of performing calculation in Excel, but it gets the job done. You get your answer there. Do we all have the same answers? We got the same answers, right? It's a constant. The problem with the constant way of performing calculation is that if, for example, let's say my values here, like my items that I have sold, they change. Let's say now they are 40. Let me say, put a 40 there. Does your answer change? No, it doesn't change because we didn't use the cell reference. So we use the constant. Actually, here what we said is equal sign 34 times 200. So the answer is still referring to, the formula is still referring to what? 34 times 200. The answer is based on that. And regardless of your quantity changing this side, it didn't affect what? Your answer this side. So this is the wrong way of calculation. If you want to keep your spreadsheet alive, meaning that if it changes, it becomes dynamic where it picks up the change. You don't do the calculations like this. Let's delete that and then redo this equal sign. Now we are using the correct way of doing calculations, right? Which is called the cell referencing. So the cell referencing, we are referencing a container. We are saying, let's click here on, after equal sign, click on where there's C2 there. So C2 is a container. You are saying whatever is in C2 times whatever is in what? In D2. So I'm saying container, whatever is inside C2 times D2. So the container times that container. So the values inside the container times that container. So you see, we got the answer there, right? 40 times that 200, it gives us that 8,000 there. And then now, let's change these from 40 back to 32. Let's change 40 back to 32. Was it 34? Let's put it to that 34, right? You see what it does there? As long as you referenced a cell, a container, whenever that data changes that's inside the container, the formula picks up that change. So you're keeping your cells alive, dynamic, so that if there's a change this side, it takes effect. So this is the correct way of performing calculation. We call it the cell referencing. We are referencing the container, which can be C2, D2, F2, whatever cell it is, times another cell. If the value inside changes, automatically that picks up a change. So let's perform the calculations get the answers for these other three. All right. What else? Okay, we're done, right? Because we only perform calculation for one. The rest, you just break it down, right?
Yes, sir.
You see, so that's a method. It doesn't only work on your, let's say, on the dates, on the numbers. Also, it works here on the calculations. You calculated one, the rest will pick up that formula. So Excel is smart enough to say, okay, you at the top here, you used C2 times D2. So when I dragged it down, you see, it says, okay, so the following one was what? C3 times D3. And then the other one, C4 times D4. Oh, so it picks up that autofill. So it also works on the formulas and functions. But I want to show you, when we come back from tea break, I want to show you the risk of using this method in formulas, how it can affect you. So check here formulas, and then let me say trace percentage. It shows me, okay, for me to get this answer 336, I used which one? 28 and 12, or C5 times D5. And then check here again, trace percentage. For me to get the answer for that, I used that, because it followed the first format. You used that C2 times D2, you got an answer. When you dragged it down, it says, okay, I see what you did there at the top. So you want to use C3 times D3, okay. C4 times D4, okay, you got the answer. So it picks up that pattern. But after tea break, I want to show you the challenges that we're going to see when you drag down the formulas, how it can throw you off or your answers off. All right, let's take the 15 minutes tea break. When we come back, we look at the other part of this. Let me make it 20 minutes just for my guys here that are going that side. Let's make it 20 minutes. Okay, these other guys are not in yet. Let's see what we got. Oh, I forgot to do one more thing. All right, so the next one, what was my next thing? Okay, my next part. All right, so we were looking at these. We're saying these are very helpful in terms of like auto-filling. So you perform calculation on only one, and then you drag it all the way down. But there might be some challenges when going forward with this. Let me see where the error will come from when dealing with dragging down. Let's say here at the top, let me say pass mark. Let me say pass mark at the top there. So right now we just want to focus on the errors that you're going to see when you're using that option. And then maybe somewhere here, let's say I got my students. And then let's say their marks. And then the grading, right? I want to grade them. Is it a pass or fail? Let's do this. And then let's say I have, Lucy, I have only the okay, here's my students. They got these marks. This one got 56. This one got 89. This one is 70. This one has, let's say, 90. Right. So I once had this request from one of the lectures where he was saying, okay, they do have quite a number of students that they get like in their class. So they have maybe 100 and something students. And then also they need to record the marks of the students. And then after recording the mark of the students, they need to have like a column that shows, okay, is it a pass or fail? So if you're looking at this data set, it's only 2, 4, 6 data set. It's easy for you to tell, okay, if the pass mark is 70%, so you got 56, that's a fail. Okay, that's a pass, that's a pass, that's a pass, that's a fail. It's easy to pick up that. But if your data goes all the way to the bottom, like 200 and something, 200 to 1,000, so it becomes difficult for you to identify individually the grading of that mark. So you need a function to do that. But bear in mind that I'm not interested in the formula that we're going to use now. The formula, we're going to check it out later. I'm interested in the behavior of Excel when you drag down things. So I want to use a formula. So here's the scenario. Let me explain the scenario again. The scenario is I want to use a formula that will compare these mark, the student's marks, with the pass mark, and then return a pass or a fail, depending on is this value greater than or equals to that. So that's the scenario right there. The scenario. So we want to use a function called the if function, right? If it compares two items and then it compares items and then it returns a true or false. So we want to give it a condition. The condition is that is 56 greater than or equals to 70? If it is, then return pass or fail. So we have two ways that we want, right? We want pass or fail. Pass meaning that this person is reached 70, got 70 or higher than that. Fail meaning that is less than that. So the scenario is clear now. And my focus is on the dragging down option. So let me say equal sign. If we're using an if function, are we all following? The guys online, is my mic? Did I unmute myself? Let me check that. Okay, my mic is.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes. So can I ask, so you just type in if or?
Yes. Yeah, equal sign if. Equal sign. So all the functions, we start with an equal sign, right? Every time when we're bringing in a function, just make sure that we are using, we started with an equal sign for that. So check here, the first argument, we call these arguments, right? Can you see, we call these arguments. So the first one is the logical test. What's your logic that we're trying to evaluate? What's your logic? What are you trying to test? I want to test if this value, F10, is greater than or equals to, right? That's the logic that I'm testing. F10, is it greater than or equals to K3? So that's the logic that I'm testing there. So when I show you that dragging down option, so if equal sign if, and then opening parentheses, then F10, that's the logic. The logic to test is F10, what's inside F10, which is 56, is 56 greater than 70, which is what is on K3. All right, let me see, do I need to zoom in more? Let me see. Okay, let me redo that. Equal sign if, right? And then open in parentheses. Can you see where it says the logic to test? Where is your logical test? That's my logic. F10 greater than or equals to that K3. The reason why we're adding an equal sign, just in case someone got a 70, right? And that's a pass, okay? And then put a comma, semicolon. Value if true. If this F10 is greater than K3, what do you want Excel to do? Want a pass, right? Want to return a pass. So if F10 is greater than or equals to K3, we want to return what? A pass. But the things that in Excel functions, when you are adding a word in a function, you have to start with an inverted comma. So add the double inverted commas. So shift inverted comma and then type in pass. So for this one, don't press a single inverted comma twice to make it a double inverted comma. Excel usually rejects that. Make sure that you use the double inverted comma that you get by pressing shift and then double inverted comma, and then add a closing inverted comma. And then check one more thing. Let me just go back. Can you see right now which one is bold? Can you see logical test is bold, but the minute I add a comma, the next one, or semicolon, the next one becomes bold. So on your side, Excel will tell you which one I'm using. It can be a comma or a semicolon. Check here. On my side, there it's written there. Can you see there? It shows me the example, it's a semicolon. On your side, so it changes depending on the Excel version. On my side, it's a comma. On your side, on my side, it's a semicolon. On your side, it might be a comma. Check the read what's written there. Logical test, and then semicolon, value of true, semicolon, right? So that it can give you an error if you used a comma instead of a semicolon, and then same with if you use a semicolon instead of a comma, you get that error. All right. And then now what do I want now? A comma, a semicolon. So value if false, if K3 is less than 70, what do you want Excel to do? If K3 is less than 70, what do you want Excel to do? I want a false, right? A fail. What a fail. Yes. I'm looking for a fail. So the other one, value if true, it's a pass. Value if false. Value if false, it means that K3 is less than 70. Value if true, it means that K3 is greater than or equals to that 70. That's true. Then if it's true, you put a pass. And then if it's less than the 70, you put a fail. Yeah, press enter. We close it with this closing parentheses, and sometimes it works without also closing it. We got a correct answer there, right? It says it's failed, right? 56 is not greater than 70. So this person failed. Okay, so we know the behavior is that we are lazy people, right? We want to look for easy way of doing things. So we only perform calculation for one, and then what do we do with the rest? We drag it down. You see, now this is why I brought you here, that these dragging down of formulas, it might bring you to these errors that you're going to see going forward. Like, so we call this This type of error, what is it? So Excel didn't do anything wrong. You as a user, you did the mistake. So let me show you what I mean by that. Check. First time, trace percentage. So if you want to put these arrows, you get these arrows by going to formulas. You click on formulas, and then you look for a group called formula auditing. So you first select G10, right? Where there's your fail there, the first one where you calculated, you select there, and then use trace percentage. So trace percentage, it shows us, okay, for us to get that fail, which values were compared, which cells were used for us to get this answer. So we used K 56 and 70, which is K3 and what? F10. Check the next one. Trace percentage. You see? Trace percentage. You see what it does there? Yes, Excel returned a correct answer for us. We were comparing 56 with 70. Yes, 56 is less than 70. So it's what? It's a fail. 89, compare it with what? With a 0. Is that a pass or a fail? If the pass mark is 0 and then someone got 89, it's a pass, right? You see what it says? It says pass. 70, comparing it to what? To 0. The pass mark says now is 0. It's no longer comparing it to 70. Because when you drag down the formula, Excel picks up a formula and says, okay, the first one you compare it with what? These with that. So the second one is what? These. It moves to a cell lower. And then the third one is these, and then to what? Another cell lower. These to that, another one lower. So Excel didn't do anything wrong. But it's just us on our side. We need to control this. So what is it that we want? We want that when we drag down our formula, it keeps on comparing to one cell, to 70, right? That's what we want. So then how do we fix that? Let's remove the arrows. Remove the arrows. Okay, so now we know where the problem is coming from, right? Is that when we drag the formula down, Excel said, you compared 56 with 70. I gave you the answer, which is fail. And then the next one, you dragged it down. So that means you are comparing 89 with what? With the following cell, K4. And then the other one with that, another one. So, but it's empty now. So we are saying, we know where the problem is coming from. We need to keep on comparing to this. So I want to introduce you to what we call the absolute cell referencing. So it's called the absolute cell referencing because when you are dragging down the formula, it keeps on referring to the same cell or the same range of data. Okay, let's go back to our formula there where there's fail. The first formula. Click on your first formula. All right, and then I usually want to do this on my formula bar. On my formula bar there, can you see where it says equal sign if F10, and then is it greater than or equals to K3? They in between K and 3, they click in between K and 3. We want to add the dollar signs. The dollar signs are to say, when we drag down our formula, keep on referring to what? To the same cell. So the shortcut for adding the dollar sign is F4. So you click in between K and 3, and then you press F4. Some computers, when you're pressing F4, they require you to press the function key and F4. Function key and F4, then you get those dollar signs. Or you can do it manually by adding the dollar sign behind a K and then the dollar sign in between K and 3. All right, and then press enter. So did we add the dollar signs? So here is the concept of the dollar sign before we even drag it down. So if you want the Excel to keep on referring to the same column, you add a dollar sign on what? Behind K. So if you add a dollar sign behind K, what are you saying? You're saying stick to what? To this column. And then on our side, we added a dollar sign behind K, and then a dollar sign behind what? Number 3. So we're saying stick to what? Column K, row number 3. So which means now you are stuck to one cell, all right? So we have done that. Let's drag it down and see what it does. Drag it down. Can you see the? Yes, 89 is greater than 70. That's a pass, right? 70 is equal to that 70. That's a pass, right? 44, no. Yes, it's a fail. You see now. So check, let's go back to that. trace percentage option. You see, the first one compares to that same cell. The last one compares to all of them. They're comparing to the same cell. So when we drag down our formula, it kept that method. It kept that method. How were we able to keep that for it to keep on referring to the same cell? It's because of the dollar sign. We call it the absolute cell reference. If you want to lock the cell, you put the dollar signs. If you want to lock a cell, you put the dollar sign behind K and then dollar sign behind. Make sense? All right. So we have we have that option. So now I wanted to show you this because I've shown you the dragging down that, okay, it saves you time, but I was supposed to show you the errors that you're going to see after that. So you just have to be on the lookout for these type of errors. When you drag down something, what type of error you're going to see. All right. Now, we are going to save this document. And then when we submitting, we haven't submitted the summative of module 3, right? So when we submitting this, it will show, we're submitting this as also part of our practicals, right? Okay, so I want to add more to this. I want to add more. Let me see, where is more? So we have been focusing on the autofill options. I want to bring in more of autofill options and formatting numbers. So there is one spreadsheet that is not there on now it's not here. Let me see if I can drop it on Teams and then we go through that. Let me see if I can drop it on Teams. Let me go on general. There's one spreadsheet that will allow me to continue with what I've started there. Let me see, where is it? Where is that file? I want the, oh, there is the file. So, all right. So I want us to continue with this autofill. I want to wrap it up with this spreadsheet. So text split. All right. It's there on general. Please download this one on general then. It's there on general. Go to general of our teams. General of our teams, then I think it was already there. Let me see if, yeah, but go to general of our teams, you'll find it there. Okay, this is the one I just uploaded now, but go to general and then you'll see it's the last document to be uploaded there. So download that one. Okay, we can save that document that we're busy with, right? We're busy with this one. Save it. Save it as spreadsheet practicals. We're going to upload it when we're uploading the module 3. What's the name of your group? No, like the company. It's Metaco. All right, you can save this one. We're done with this one. Right, and then download and open this one. Our focus now is on this one. Hey, my phone is overheating. The thing is going down. All right, so are we all on this page now? Yes, no? Text split, all right. So now let's open the first page, which is saved as text to columns, the first worksheet of this document saved as text to columns. So what I want us to do is, can you see where there's names and last name there? I want you to delete the names added on column B and C there. And then the shortcut for doing this is, I know most people, they like this thing of you click there, you left click, you drag it all the way down. But what if your data goes all all the way to the bottom, right? So the shortcut for kind of highlighting, you can use the control shift, and then the arrows, I can do arrow to the side, then I can do arrow to the bottom. See it highlight. So if your data goes all the way to 100 and something at the bottom, it will do that for you. So I'll do that again. So instead of me doing this, so instead of me doing this, left clicking there and then dragging all the way to down. Right now, our data ends on 38. Looks like it's not that much, right? But you'll be dealing with bigger spreadsheet. Your data might go all the way to 100 and something. So I'm saying the shortcut for doing this is I want to highlight all these going all the way down, but I want to use the keys, the shortcut keys. So the shortcut key is you select where you want to start there, which is B4. Then I press Control Shift, right? And then the right arrow. The right arrow is for me to select the next cell, right? And then the down arrow, Control Shift, down arrow. You see, it goes all the way to the bottom. So it saves you time of dragging all the way to the bottom there. So it saves you time of dragging all the way. Matlod, you got that one? The shortcut.
No, sir. I was asking which lesson is it? Is it lesson 1?
No, don't go to lesson 1. Go to Teams. We're going to get back to lesson 1 and stuff, those files. Now, on Teams, I shared this one here on Teams.
Okay. Yeah, I see it, sir.
On general, yeah. All right, let me give you a second to catch up with that. Open. Let me know once you have opened it.
It's open, sir.
All right, so the shortcut that we're looking at, we want to delete this, right? So we said we want to find a method of quickly deleting this. We said Control Shift, and then down arrow, right arrow, and then down arrow, and then you press delete, right? Okay. All right. So then we learned another shortcut. It's very important, like that shortcut. I'll show you on bigger spreadsheet how it comes in handy. Okay, now we have a scenario. The scenario is that we want to split the names. So I have Melu Simoyo and Zain Mohammed and then Debo Nzimande. All these guys' names, they are all in what? In one column. So maybe the database rules in our company is that we have to split this into 2 columns. You have to split it into 2 columns. So how then do we do this? The shortcut is, okay, no shortcut. Okay, there are many methods of doing this. Let me show you method number 1. The method number 1 is I want to highlight this data. Again, I'll use the shortcut, select the A4 and then Control Shift down arrow. So you select that data. Is the scenario clear? Is it clear what we're trying to do? So we have names and surname in column A. So maybe you receive this coming from a client. Then our database rules in our company is that we need to have maybe names and surname in different columns. So you need to clean up the data. You need to split it. Does that make sense? Is that clear, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the scenario is that we want to split that into 2 different columns. Okay, then where do we go to? We go to the data tab. Look for data tab. I want to show you 3 ways or 4 ways of doing the same thing. Go to data tab. Click on data tab. And then from there, you go to, there's this group called data tools. Can you see the group called data tools? The tab is data tab. We first highlighted the data, and then we clicked on data tab, and then we're looking for a group called data tools. We're looking for a group called data tools. So we said first we went to data tab. Number 2, we're looking for a group. This is the group that we're looking for. And then first we started with highlighting our data. And then now the command that we're looking for is text to columns. So click on this command, text to columns. So you click on that command, text to columns. Can you see? It shows you the preview of your selected data. Can you see the preview of your selected data?
Yes,
If you don't see a preview, it means that you didn't select the data. You didn't select the data first. So on the first page, it's saying delimited characters such as a comma, tab, separate each field. So here, what we're looking at is it says delimited like separators, right? It means separators. Your data is separated by either a comma, a space. So leave it on the delimited because our data is some separators there. All right. And then click on next. On next, we have options there. How is your data separated? You see, we have semicolon, we have commas, we have space. So our data is separated by what? By a comma. Like what separates the Emelusi Moyo? What separates Zain Mohammed? What separates Tebu Nzimande? Baloyi?
Space.
It's just the space, right? So
Yes.
they're separated by that space there. So can you see? So you need to check what separates your data. So the box that separates space. What if now your data is a mix? So you select all of them, right? Semicolon, comma, and all of that, right? But right now, my data is only by what? By space. But it won't give any effect. It won't have any effect if all are selected. Because already, check your preview there. You can see Excel is picked up, says, oh, I see. Your data is separated by what? By a space. There is the separator. It draws a line. Are we good with that?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, click on next. Now on next here, it says destination is D4. Can you see destination? Destination is A4. Can you see there is A4? The problem is that when we click finish there and the destination is A4, what it will do is it will split the names. It will split the surnames only and then put the surnames where? On column B. That's not what we want. What we want is the names to be on column B, the surname to be on column C. So right now it says destination is A4. All right, let's click finish. We'll correct this. And then I want to show you what it will do there. Click on finish. Leave the destination as it is. Click on finish. You see what it does there? Is that what we want now? No, right? We want the last names to be where? On the column C there. And then the names to be on column B. So let's do Control Z for undoing that. Control Z or undo there at the top. All right. So when I do this again, when I do it again, let me see if I can zoom in. So Control Shift down arrow. We say, no, why it's not doing control? All right. And then we said we highlight the data. On your side, already the data is highlighted. Go to Data tab and then go to a group called Data Tools. Can you see? Can you see there's a group, there's a command called Text to Columns? And then that command, click Next. We have already selected these, the checkbox, semicolon, comma, they're ticked already. Click on Next. What we want to change is the destination. So for this data to move to column B4, we need to change this destination. Can you see right now it says A4? So you can select there and then change from A4 to B, make it a B4. Or I can use the cell selector there and then select that. I can use the cell selector, then cell selector, and then select that. You can see equals to B4. Or I can just delete A and then make it a B. All right, and then click finish and see what it does. You see what it does there. So we have managed to split that. So let's say now those that didn't know about this function for splitting this, the scenario is still the same. Like I always tell people in Excel that in Microsoft that Microsoft products, there are so many ways of doing the same thing. So I've shown you this method. What other method do you use, or what were you going to use for this scenario to split those? Zanele? Let's say you were given this task to split there. What method were you going to use to split that data? Zanele still there? What method were you going to use to split this data? Or you already knew about this method?
I know, say I was just gonna copy and paste.
Right, copy and paste, which would, like, it gets the job done, but it's just that the time it consumes, time consuming, right? So in
Yeah.
Excel, there are so many methods that we can use to do the same thing. It's just that you're always going to be looking for what's the easy way of doing this? What's the easy way of doing this? All right, so that's method number one. We managed to do that using method number one. The method is called text to columns. Okay. So now I want us to delete this data again. I want us to bring in something again there. Delete what we have just added there. All right, press delete. All right, I deleted that. Okay, I want us to look at another method of doing the same thing. I want us to look at the other method of doing the same thing. All right, we managed to delete that, right? So there is another method which is easier than what we just did there. Someone else, so the scenario is still the same. I want to have names in this column. I want to have names in these columns. Sorry, in the column B. So you start typing, let's say Melusi, and then I press enter. Say, you see what Excel does there? The minute I type in ZA, before I even finish it, can you see Excel is saying, ooh, I see what you're trying to do there. Then it populates other names there.
Yes, sir.
So it simplifies that process of me manually typing this all the way going down. It says, I see, it picks up that pattern. And then if you are happy with what Excel is showing you, you press enter. Then you can see we have managed to add that. See, did you manage to do it? Did you manage to do this? Did you manage to do this? Populate this? Or you are lost? You're on the same page. Oh, and then you're busy doing the different thing from what we do. You're always going to be behind this. All right, but it's fine. Yeah, you can go ahead and do your stuff there. All right, so now, like systems development, technical support, end user. So this, you will find it on all levels. So it benefits everyone. Everyone in IT, I teach the Excel because you need to know that. But if you want to do your assignments now, you do your assignments, it's fine. Okay, so now let's check if we are able to populate the surnames. Let's see if we're able to populate the surnames. If Excel is smart enough to pick up this. And then Mohammed, no, it's correct spelling. Mohammed H there. You see, Excel is like, ooh, I see. Then it helps me out with that. And then I press enter. Saves me time. So today we're just focusing on tools or functions, commands that will make your life easy when you're dealing with this. We want to be efficient Excel users. Look for easy ways of doing something. All right. Let's look at the downfalls of these. What are the problems that come with this? Check here. There are people that have one names. They don't have last name. Check. You see what it does here. The autofill. The problem with the autofill is that on these scenarios where there's only one value there, it pulled up that, and then now we have the Seho as a surname, but it's not because this guy don't give us the surname. Okay, so it did the same thing. So you see, it will not do the job, let's say 100% correct. It will just give you 99% of the job will be done for you. So you are only left with a few things to clean up, to come here and be like, okay, no, that's not the surname. Okay, so that's not the surname. delete. So the first function, it was able to do the correct things for us. So the reason why I'm giving you many functions or many ways of doing the same thing is so that if method number 1 is not working, I switch to number 2. If number 2 method is not working, we have number 3. But at the end, out of the 3, 1 will work, will do the job. So all of these 2, they are working now. But the problem with this one is that where there is someone with 1 name, what it does is it will pull up that. But 99% of the job is done for me. I just have 2 names to fix, or maybe 3. Looks like it's only 2. So you see, these functions, they get the job done for us. All right. But I want to test something. There's a new function that I see it for the first time today. Excel added this clean data. Oh, it's the Copilot feature. So just added there. All right, so when you're on Office 365, you will see like all these new updates, all these new features that Excel will bring in, they will be made available for you.
I wanted to ask, say, because I don't have the Copilot option. So do I have to update my Excel?
You don't have Copilot?
It doesn't appear on my screen.
No, it's a license. Yeah, you need a license for that. So on your product key, you can ask your IT team to give you the license. Like, it's a powerful tool, Copilot. I'll show you later on how to use the Copilot. The powerful tool, especially, it saves you time. So instead of us doing these things manually like this, you just type in something in natural language, and then it will go ahead, and then especially the cleaning up of your data like this, it will clean up the data for you. Okay, so it looks like they've added features of Copilot directly to our Excel version, but it's fine. Okay, so check now. All right, let me ask this guy to plug me in with my Copilot, because we deactivated it yesterday. Let me just say, just do this. Okay, on the next page, there are new functions. Microsoft always keeps on bringing these different functions. We have text split, text before, text after. Want someone to fix my, there's one thing that I need there from my Excel. Let's say not you. All right. Okay, so we have now these new functions, which are your text split, text before, text after. So again, they're doing what we were doing that side. Text split, you can see it splits text into rows or columns using delimiters. Oh, before I come this side, let's go back to text to columns. Let's go back to text to columns. What if sometimes you get the opposite of this? because our scenario was that we want to split, right? We want to split name like into 2 columns, right? What if now scenario or your company wants these to be in 1 column and then you found it in what? In 2 columns. Then how do you put it into 1 column? Get the idea? So we want to do the opposite. We found our data in what? In 2 columns, sorry, in 1 column, and then we split it into 2 columns. So we have the names and surname in 2 different columns. What if you found it like this, and then you want it in what? To look like this, in 1 column? What method or function are you going to use? Because there are some other databases that will have a requirement like that, where they want you to have data in what? Just in 1 column. We get the idea what we're trying to do now, right? Yes, no, we follow.
Yes, sir.
You just want to do the opposite, right? The opposite of that. So there are so many ways in Excel of doing that. Let me show you method number 1. It's called equal sign, it's called concatenate. Concatenate. So there's concat and then there's concatenate. I think they're getting rid of concatenate. They're using concat. So let's use concat, but they both do the same thing. So can you see it says concatenate a list or range of test strings. So it just means that it will combine a list of names or, yeah. All right, so concat equal sign concat. Can we see it says text 1? Where's your first text? This is my first text, right? Which is B4. All right, and then put a comma. Where's my next text? Which is C4. And then I close that. See what it does there? Ooh, but it looks like, yes, it combined, concatenated it, but there's no space in between. All right, it gets the job done. We'll fix it there. Did you manage to do that? Oh, let me do that again with you. Let me just say equal sign, concat. Let me just do this. Let me just do this. Let me zoom in. So we're doing the opposite of what we were doing. They were splitting, now we're combining now. Equal sign, concat. So I said there is concat and then there's concatenate. All will do the same thing. The first argument is text number 1. It says, where is the text? Where's the first text that you want to combine? It's this one, B4, and then put a comma. And then where is the second text that you want to combine? There's the other one. So I can put a comma, it will move to 3, put another comma, it move to 4. So you can combine as many texts as you want. Right now, we only have 2 texts to combine, right? Then I'll close that with a closed in parentheses. Press enter. You see what it does there? It combines that, but I want space between those 2. So I want to redo that so that I can get my space. I want to redo that. So equal sign. We have seen that concat works, but the problem is that concat, like now it wasn't giving us space. They click on that and then put what? Semicolon. So in here, how do you represent a space in Excel in formulas? You present a space by using the inverted comma and then opening inverted comma, space, closing inverted comma. That's how you create a space. Can you see that? And then you select the text number 3, C4. So what I did, I said equal sign, concat, selected B4, and then put a semicolon. I see, Matlodi, you are asking for module 3 SA and FA. You haven't seen it on Teams. Should be there on Teams. I think my team has uploaded that already. Module 3 SA and FA.
On Teams, the last thing was uploaded. So it was okay. Just up. Sir, I can't find it.
So when you're looking for uploads, you don't go to general because general will just show you what was uploaded now. You go to assignments, and then assignments will show you the upcoming assignments, the ones that you still have to do. Can you
So,
see? It shows.
yes, sir, under module 3 summative, I see address listed like someone attached that they submitted here again.
Yeah.
As I see there's address
Oh,
list and all that.
wait a
So there's
minute.
no module.
So it picks up someone else's submission. No, let me see. Let me just do a view. Oh, there's no module 3 SA. Okay, let me just get someone to fix that now. And then what about the FA? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, the module 3 summative assignment I also submitted because it was written due on my side.
Yeah, that one, yeah, I think that was true already. And then PPSHA module, let's say, why is it? Okay, there's the FA. Well, the FA is there, right? It's only the essay that we uploaded the wrong one. All right, okay, the essay, I'll fix that one now. I'll get someone to fix it for us and upload the essay.
So the summative assessment that I submitted, I wasn't supposed to submit. It's incorrect.
No, let me see which one. Let me see your. I'm talking to Zanele, right? Let me see your submission. Yeah. Zanele, where is? Oh, Zanele. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
There you are. Oh, welcome. I'm not. Inkinga. Abang printeli register, but very abona baningi abangekho. So ngizothukama ngiprinteli register. Offense done. Now full up, put your offense and printeli register. Yeah. And then I'm telling group he. What you see? Metacom. Yeah. Metacom. Yeah. I have, I think, like 4 learners that are not in today. Yeah. Supposed to be 5. So that means how many? 2 are not in. Those 2. Yeah, he's in Metacom. It's just him is not in. So that means, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think I have 2 people that are not in today. Nope, no message. Yeah. Let me just do this. Let me just. As we wait for Ulona, I'll sprint there just to give you the guys that are not in the names. Yeah, let's see. Metacom. Here, supervise. There we go. Let's see. The guys that are not in, they will be. This Chesley not in. Demofang is in. Marvin Williams not in. So it's those 2. Yeah, Mercedes. Wait, but Mercedes. Yeah, and Maslow Nage. And then Tula Sizwe. When Tula Sizwe, and then what's your name? Oh, when we group ya one in here. Yeah, no, easy. Yeah.
In other words,
Level 2. Yeah, is doing catch up in a group mentally. They're going for that catch up. All the best here. And then so we have his group, I1, and then Metacom. Metacom, there should be. Yeah. And then, yeah, I think those are the guys. And then the other ones are online, like so.
Who's online?
Online, I have EasyPack. That's Mr. Zame there. And then Zanele Gojo, which group are you in? What's your company?
Moving Tactics.
Moving Tactics, only 1 learner there. Yeah.
I'm just calling these 3. They are aware with
yeah, but now I'm sure they are aware of their class then, yeah. But then, yeah, it's like they always have stories, these ones. Those two. All right, Zanile, I just want to check the module 3 SA that you submitted. Zanile, uthole upon module 3 ngoba ngathi ayikho vele la. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, but the module 3 is the one, yeah, the one that you submitted. Wait, did I share it somewhere else? Like where? Yeah, it's the one. Yeah. Oh, module 3 was due level. Module, let's see. March, and then each due date by 2 days submission. You see, due today at 8. Did you submit it?
Yeah, so actually, when we started, yes, they did.
Oh, but you guys, oh yeah. So you already did that. We skipped.
So, sir, from my side, today we are submitting module 2.
Huh?
Today we are submitting module 2, 30 July, and we are starting module 3.
Wait. We're starting module 3. Are we not finishing? Yeah.
We did that in May, and when we came here, we did module 21. So we never did submitting.
Why you don't say?
So
Guys?
formative is due today.
Yeah, wait, like, because Matlo decide, she's saying, as Jew, let me see, maybe, why they put you guys on, like, your submission date should be the same. June 15, Major. Wait, now you're confusing me, like, what's,
So we did module 1 and 2 with you, both
Yeah.
formatting and submitting.
yeah,
Right? Official formatting 2 will be today. Formatting 3, the formatting 1 is due in September.
all right, I see where the problem is coming from with Metacom, right? Because when you were supposed to do module 1, you went to do the different one. All right, so your side is kind of like different from the actual schedule, like slightly different. So Matlodi, I think on your side, you were following like the current schedule. What are,
Yes, sir.
where are we? Let me see. Konjo, what's your company? Let me check your schedule here.
Swift Chemicals.
Swift, let me see what do they say on Swift Chemicals. What are we supposed to be doing today? What's due today? Because my schedule is saying different things.
Because I even saw on WhatsApp where they said I didn't submit module 3, and I was like, we haven't started module 3.
Wait, let's see. So this is Swift Chemicals, right? Am I
Yes,
on the
sir.
correct one?
Yes, sir.
Swift Chemicals, yes. All right. You have already done the flammable skills there, and then module 2.
Last time we were doing module 2, we were doing interviews and debate.
It was module 2.
Yes.
And then, so today, according to your schedule, we're starting with module
Module 3.
3. It's the first day of module 3. Wait a
Yes.
minute, what's happening here? And then on my calendar, because before I come to class, I'm checking this. Where is this thing? Where is this thing? Today is the on XAMPP, which look for the latest one with the higher number, ne? The latest one. So today is let me see where is the other date there, blah 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 blah. Show me that part. So Metacom was not supposed to attend today because you have done the formatting. No, it's fine because you attend. You have to go through Excel. Never done that. Where is the Swift? All right, Swift. Okay, there's module 2 for Swift, and then Swift that group. 2, and then last one was. Okay, so it looks like, yes, according to this schedule, we are supposed to be starting module. So what's due, what's supposed to be uploaded is module 1 and 2, not
Yes.
module 3. All right, I get that now, I see. Because there's a mix of, on my side, they got it wrong on my calendar. All right, so that means we have to go through module 3. All right, there is this, so on my side, I have these 2 groups now. So check here. I have this group called the German. They're also doing so they're coming tomorrow. That means with them tomorrow is module 4. And then I have done module 3. I'll share the recording of module 3. So today, let me continue with the Excel and then wrap up the Excel. I just want you to be comfortable with Excel. Then I will, let's say when we meet, let me see when you guys are coming again. Swift Chemicals said that you guys are coming on the 20th of August.
20,
Right, so you will
21.
start with the formative. I will upload the formative and summative. So let me see, Azanele, which group are you in? You said you are under which company? Let's see.
Moving
What's your
Tactics.
schedule looking like? Moving Tactics.
Yeah.
How's the schedule?
Yeah, I'm also attending today and the 20th and the 21st of August.
The 21st.
Yeah,
All right.
but
So
already
that
on
means
my assessment, module 3 was already included
uploaded.
to submit.
Oh. Okay, that means the confusion is this side. Because you see now, there are some other people that are supposed to not to be on this group. There are some other people that are not supposed to be on this group. So they mixed, all right, they mixed you guys with the other group. So the confusion came from here. We have these other guys that are coming tomorrow doing end user again. So when they're uploading, I think they uploaded what was supposed to be for this other group. And then, all right. So we are all on the same track, right? We are starting module 3 today. So that means if you've done your module 3 already, like Zanele, it's fine. You're sorted with that. Zanele, you have done your module 2 also, ne?
Yeah, I submitted.
So right, you sorted with your module 3. But those that are still yet to do module 3, don't worry. We'll put the correct due date there.
And then on my side for because it was only the summative for module 3, and then the formative, it says I should submit on the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, I see the same thing on my side.
You see
Yeah.
the same thing. All right. So yeah, that looks like there is a. So these should be due. Let me see. This should be due. So we follow these, right? So just make sure you just follow these. So what's due today is module 2, right? So you can see 30 July. So that means
Yeah.
everyone should have uploaded their module 2. And then that means now this module 3 will be due on this. I'll change the date there. On the 15th. Okay, let me change it now before I even forget that. Let me change that before I forget.
And so please attach the one without
summative.
answers. Yes,
All right, I will. They need to remove it on their side. That side, I will ask them to do that. Let me just say student view and then not student view. Let me say this is module 3 SA. Let me say edit the submission, edit assignment.
So is it okay if we submitted already then?
I know it's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's just the one
after
that we didn't submit that I will submit before the 15th.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Let me see. We said the due date for this one is when the 15th, right?
15th
The
Let's-
15th of September.
September.
September, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. All right. 8 a.m. All current students. All right. Okay. Let's update that. And then some of these, I'm assuming they are activity files that you need to refer to. I don't think these are the answers. Are they answers or what?
No, they
Yeah.
the data that you must use
No,
for the
No,
to submit.
you must.
Yeah, you
use
refer
the-
to them, right? Okay, you refer to them.
Yeah.
So what we need here is just the summative. All right, I'll upload what's outstanding is the summative. So let me not delete these because you need them for maybe other activities there. All right, let me say update that. Okay, I'll have a chat with someone else to assist me with that now, uploading the correct one. And then the formative, we said is fine. Is it fine? The formative, is it due when? 15th, right? It's fine there. And then does it have, let's say, edit assignment? Okay, it has some other things to refer to. And then, okay, formative is fine. Okay, let's update that. Okay. All right, so for some guys that have uploaded, I know they did module 3 first, yeah. So, so yeah. Okay, that is, so let me just write it down. I need to fix, make a note. I need to fix module 3 SA. Module 3 SA upload, module 3 SA, all right. It's only module 3. Okay, we're now on the same page, all right. Okay, so we were coming back to this part. We were trying to concatenate these, and then we said now to concatenate or to combine these, you will need to add that inverted comma in there, those opening and closing inverted commas, and then you press enter. You see now you have a space there. So you have space in between the two. And then again, if you want to add, let's say now you want to have an underscore in between the name and the surname. You want to have an underscore between the name and surname. You can go to your formula bar there where you created a space. You can put the underscore there. Can you see? Where you had space there, you can put an underscore. You can see the Melusi underscore Moyo there. So the space on that part where the space, you can control it in different ways. For some people, for some scenarios, you might be required to put a what you call a semicolon or whatever there. Can you see? You can see there's a semicolon. So you can have whatever, or a comma or an underscore. So you have those options there. All right. So that's the function that simplifies that process of combining. I have another function that will do the same thing. The function is, let me see if we can work on this one. The function is called text join. It's called text join, equal sign, text join. So on column E, I'm bringing in another function. The scenario is still the same. We're doing the same thing, just that we want to do it using a different function. So as I said that in Excel, there are so many ways of completing the same task. So equal sign, text join. And then I want to start with we check the first argument is the delimiter. So the delimiter is asking us to, okay, what separates your data? How is your data separated? Right, our data is separated by a space. May you see that when I separate it by a space, let's put that space. Okay. And then you put a comma or a semicolon. So it says now, wait, let me see if that will work. It says now this ignore empty spaces. So if there are empty spaces, what do you want to do? Let's say there are empty spaces. So we just want to ignore the empty spaces. When I ignore the empty spaces, all right. I don't usually use this function, so I just want to test it out and see if it works. A new function, I usually use the concat. Let me see. And then it says text 2, text 3. What's the text that you want to join? I want to join that. I want to join that. All right, let me delete and then try that again. Let me just do that. So open in parentheses saying the delimiter. What will be your delimiter here? I want to separate these by spaces. I want to separate them by space. And then I put a comma or a semicolon. The second argument is, what if there are empty space? What if there are spaces? What do you want to do with the spaces? So true, which is ignore empty spaces. False, include those empty spaces. So I just want to ignore the empty spaces. And then it says text 1. Where's the text that you want to add? That's text. Text number 2. Where's the text number 2? That text there. You can see it also works, also does the same thing. So let me do that again. It also works. So we are saying equal sign text join. The first argument is the delimiter, what separates your data. There it is, true or false, which is true. If we have empty spaces, we're saying ignore empty spaces. And then text number 1, there. Text number 2, that one. So we get the answers there. So you can see there are so many ways of doing the same thing. So there's so many functions. We have used text join. Here we use concatenate. They're all doing the same thing, combining text from 2 different cells. They're all doing the same thing. Okay, right, we're good with these. So here on this page, we're looking at first scenario was how do we split these 2 and put them in different columns? Another scenario was now, okay, we have managed to split them. What if now you want to combine them instead of splitting them? What function will you use? So we're using =sign concatenate or concat just to be able to combine those. And then we're saying there's another one called text join that will allow you to join the text. All right, so we're done with these, dealing with the text. Move to the next one, that page. So I want to show you one more. I'm not going to go through all these other ones. I want to show you the text split. I want to show you text split. So text split, what does it do? Splits text into rows or columns using delimiters. And then with text before, what does it do? Returns text that's before delimiting characters. And then we have text after, returns text after the delimiter. Okay, let's try to see this in a function or just in a practical part. So here we have, let me delete what we have here on column B. Delete what we have there on column B. Delete what we have there on column B and column C. Scenario is still the same. We have names and surname in one column. We're going to put it in 2 different columns. As I said in Excel, that there are so many functions that you can use to do the same thing. All right, and then now we want to do that text split. So what function are we using? Text split, and then this text split is only on Office 365. On the older version is not there. So let's say text split. Come on. Offense. Mfaka ubhazari zile-learnership mfakile ku-learnership sayinile replacement. Sure. All right, =sign text split. Text split, what do we need to do there? We say we want to split the names and surname and have them in 2 different columns. Can you see the first argument? It says, where is the text that you want to split? So you select the text. So every time when you're dealing with this in Excel, the arguments are guidelines as to what needs to be punched in there. It says, I want text first. There's the text. And then it says column delimiter. What separates your data? What separates our data? It's a space, right? And then how do we represent a space in a formula? Yeah, right, inverted commas, right? You add the double inverted commas, then we are telling Excel that our data here is separated by what? Name and surname is separated by a space. Okay, and then we can close. In Excel, when you see arguments in a bracket, it means that they're optional. So right now, we can close this, close the function, press enter, you see what it does there? Press enter, it splits that. We have names and surname in different parts. Let me delete that and try it again. So let's do it again. We said equal sign, text split. And then the first argument is the text. It says, where is the text that you want to split? There's my text. And then we put a comma. It says column delimiter. What is it? What's your delimiter? What separates these two? We said it's space. We represent a space by inverted comma. So don't type in the, what you call the double inverted commas by, let's say you click this and then you click again to make it double inverted commas. It will reject that. It will give you an error. So you have to shift and then get those double inverted commas. Get those double inverted commas. Then you'll be fine. Press enter after that. So you see there is a formula. You press enter after that.
So your comma when you press the bigger that semicolon.
Oh. Oh. So check the, I see what you mean. You say on my side it's a semicolon. Eh? You see on my side it's a semicolon. I follow. So you see, I follow what's there. On my side it's a semicolon. On your side it might be a comma. Check yours there. Can you see the after text, after the word text there, what follows? Yeah, use the semicolon. So your
So when I put the
all right, so you typed in the equal sign text split, right? And then open in parentheses A4 and then semicolon and then shift inverted comma, opening and then space, shift inverted comma. Yeah. And then yeah, and then you close it. Does it still give you an error?
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. All right. And then close that, then it gives you. So we do have many functions there. So we have, whatchamacallit? So we have different functions to use here. So again, this one might not be, because you can see this side, these two, sometimes you want to use these for other things, and then you find that, okay, it doesn't allow you to use it. So now you have, how many functions did we look at so far? We looked at, for doing the same thing, we looked at text split now, and then text after. What else did we look at? There's text before, and then there's that autofill whereby we started typing the names automatically. So you can see there are so many ways of doing the same thing. If formula number 1 is not working for you, you switch to another one. Number 2 is not working, number 3, number 4, until you find the correct one. All right. And then if you want to drag it down, because you have completed the first one, you can't drag it from the end. You see, you drag it from where? From the middle there. Can you see that? You drag it from the middle part there. And then you populate for the rest of it. So we can spend this the whole day doing the same thing. Excel has so many functions of doing the same thing. So I wanna wrap up that. So the cleaning of data, these options, we have gone through that. Okay. Let me just do this, close that. All right, any questions on these ones? Any questions on this function? So once you are faced with a scenario like this, you know what to use, right? So it doesn't only work on names. There might be some, maybe like in numbers that you want to split something. Maybe it's in what you call the warehouse number or a part number. You want specific numbers from that. Have you ever seen like the warehouse numbers? There's always these other numbers that represent, each number will represent something. So you'll have like something 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe you have a dash somewhere there. 0, 8, 9, 7, and then you have a dash 8. Sometimes you might want just to extract what the specific thing from this entire text. So on a warehouse, usually you will find that the first 4 digits, maybe they represent that this is the warehouse in Eastgate, or this is the warehouse in a specific location. And then the second ones, they represent something else. And then the last one maybe represent the number of item on the item that we have manufactured. Said, okay, this item is number 8000 nanos 08, on the agenda. So sometimes you just want to extract what the warehouse number. Let's say maybe this is the warehouse number. So how will you extract that? You can use all the text split, the text after, all these functions that we've been using so far. They can be used for populating or for pulling information like this. All right. So
if it's a
a dash. Yeah, you represent that with a. So again, if it changes to a comma, you represent that, put a comma. So to match your current data. If it's a mix, some of your data is mixed with commas, space, and all of that, you do it accordingly. All right, so we get the idea now, when and where and how to use these functions. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see what I need to bring now. Okay, so those are tools that will simplify your work as an Excel user. There's one more thing that I want us to to look at that will save us time. All right. What activity is that one? Let me just do this. I want us to look at the next one. Okay, we're good with this autofill options, and we ended up adding the text split, the text join. Now check here. I want us to look at this one, the find and replace. The find and replace. How then do we use find and replace in a formula? All right. So which activity file are we going to use? Let me see. On my side, I have it somewhere. Let's see. What's the name of that activity file? All right, I want to quickly check what number this activity file is on the textbook there, so we can open it. It's under those lessons. I want to quickly check that. Where is that? All right, I can't find it. What lesson is it on? So I have it already. So what I can do is I want to share it here again on general. I want to share that. I thought I have it already. Okay, I will drop it here on Teams, right? Find and replace. I call it find and replace. All right. Download it there on general. It's called find and replace. It's called find and replace. You can get it on general. Okay, we have that now, right? We have it open, find and replace. All right, are we done downloading that?
Yes, sir. It's unloaded.
Oh, come on, why? All right, I wanna copy and paste it right here. Not this one. Cancel that. Gonna copy. All right, let's look at this. We are focusing on the find and replace.
Mhm.
Okay, so on this one, the scenario is that, can you see what we have there? So right now, so what we want to do is we want to quickly record the attendance of our, let's say, your departmental team members. So we have spreadsheet from January to December, which is 12 spreadsheets. And then what you need to do is you need to replace employee 2 with people in your department, or also replace Faith with people in your department. Let's say in my department, let's say I have Melusi. So I need to replace wherever it says Faith, I need to replace with Melusi. Check. We have that information on January. It says there's Faith there, February Faith there. So I need to go page by page. Where it says Faith, I need to remove Faith and then type in Melusi. Where it says employee 2, I need to replace that and then add Lemohan. And then where it says employee 3 there, I have to replace employee 3 and then with Shadrach. And then employee 4 with Mike, employee 5 with John, right? So on all of these, the problem is that I have to do it on all of these entire pages. Can you see? There are 12 of them. So if you are given this task, how are you going to go about it? The scenario is clear, right? We want to find everywhere where it says Faith, want to replace it with what? With Melusi. So this is our attendance schedule for our departmental members. So it's a template coming, maybe I downloaded it online. So I want to align it with my department by changing the names that are there as employee 2, employee 3. I want to add the people that I have in my department. But the problem is that there are 12 spreadsheets. If I have to do it, that means now I have to do it on all these pages. So my question is, I know once they give you this task, when I come back, the job will be done. So how are you going to do that? What method are you going to use? Control F, right? Control F for find. All right, so we want to use a method that will simplify this process for us, which is control find, which is find for us to find items. So we want Excel to find something for us and then replace that item for us. Okay, so let's click on Faith. They go to January, click on Faith, Faith there on A5. All right. And then once you've clicked that, we go to, can you see Home tab? And then there's a group called Editing. All right. So you go to Home tab, look for groups. There's this group called Editing. Can you see where there's that function or command called Find and Select? Click on that. We want that. We want the replace there. Click on Replace. Click on Replace there. So we want to tell Excel to go through the entire workbook, find something, replace it with something. So what do we want to find?
Faith.
Right, we're dealing with Faith, right?
Okay.
We're dealing with Faith. We want to replace Faith and then replace with what? Melusi. Okay. But check, if you just click on find next or replace, it will only replace what's on this page. That's not what we want. We want this thing to go through the whole entire workbook. Want it to search on the entire workbook. Can you see where it says within? It says within sheet, which means within the page. It will search only within this page, which it doesn't solve our problem. We want worksheet. Click on the drop-down arrow there. Can you see where it says workbook? So meaning that it will search the entire book. It will go page by page, looking for Faith, and then replace Faith with what? With Melusi. Let's see if that works. Click on replace all. Can you see it says all done? We made 12 replacements, meaning that it went through each and every page and then it made some replacements there. Let me click OK. I can close this. If I go to the next page, can you see all the pages now? Where it was saying Faith, it's now saying Melusi. So this simplifies the process of replacing. So there was this one scenario that we had. There were these guys that were supposed to edit a book, like material department, edit a book, which was like a 2016 Excel material. So wherever it said 2016, we wanted to change it to Office 365. So some were doing it individually, page by page, looking for what? For 2016, change Office 365. It will take you forever because the book had like 300 and something pages. So this method simplifies that process. You can say find on the entire book, find Melusi, replace Melusi with Faith, or find Faith, replace Faith with this. So I want you to continue there where it says employee 2, change that to your name. Change employee 2 to your name, and then the other ones change and then use the people in your department. We'll check that once you're done. Remember, these activity files, we're going to submit this like to show what work we have done so far. So it's a practical part that shows what we have done. Module 3 and 4, they are all about spreadsheets and Microsoft Office document. Oh, shucks. I'm supposed to go to a meeting somewhere for a few minutes for some recording. Yeah. Wait, he says, yeah. It's registrations, yeah. So that tab must be registration. Make sure that it's registrations, because the other code, it keeps on referring to registrations. If it becomes registration, yeah. So the same way you saved it that side on the class. Yeah, it is case sensitive, yeah. All right, so just make sure that you replace employee 2, replace employee 3, employee 4, employee 5 with other people's names there.